Let us start with something a little bit more exciting. And I am talking about the Toyota MR2. It is a mid-engine rear-wheel drive sports car that has about 130 horsepower from a 2-liter inline-4. You can either get a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed auto, and you get a very reliable little car. I mean, it's a Toyota, what do you expect? And because of the lightweight, these things handle very well. And this makes them really fun to drive. But for some weird reasons, it's harder to get them in America than in Europe if you're looking at the limit of 5k. Another very different option would be a Lexus LS 400. They have one of the most reliable engines of all time, the famous 1UZ. They are 4-liter V8s that put out about 290 horsepower, and coupled with a 5-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, they are not slow at all, but they still are pretty heavy. And because it's a Lexus, you get a very comfortable and luxurious car that also has a lot of space. And the miles on these cars don't really matter, because this car is the reason Toyota has a reputation for reliability. They are tanks. The next option would be a Honda Civic, or just any K-series Honda, because they are pretty reliable, they are heavily tunable, and out of their 1.5 liter inline-4 you get about 92 horsepower because of VTEC. Those were the numbers from the 91 model year, and the little later ones already have 160 horsepower. Civics are front-wheel drive and they have insanely good fuel economy, and they also are incredibly cheap to maintain. A lot of the mixes, so the parts are cheap, and I mean it's a Honda, so you can get anything for it very quickly. And behind those cars there is an entire mod community, so you can change anything about this car, and it's still not gonna be expensive. And now I have something for you off-road guys here, and I'm talking about the Nissan Xterra. Unfortunately it's not sold in Europe, but I will mention other SUVs later, just wait. They are super reliable, and you have the option for a 3.3 liter V6 that gets about 170 horsepower to a 5-speed manual or 4-speed auto. And with that all-wheel drive system you can go anywhere. And surprisingly, there is an amazing aftermarket support for these cars, so you can just build a rock crawler out of this. And they also have a lot of space, so you can do a lot of stuff with them. You can just transport stuff or people. You can test the suspension a little bit, or just hide bodies. Whatever. To change the topic a little bit, let's talk about the BMW 3 Series. They are kind of reliable, it's very dependent on the condition and the owner, so they are great if you can work on them yourself. You get inline 4 or 6s and about 140 horsepower, and coupled with 6-speed manual transmissions or a 5-speed auto, you have a very nice rear-wheel drive car that is also pretty comfortable. And even with older BMWs, you get a good amount of features and new systems. But they also are very sporty cars and have great handling. But because they're not really big, you can't expect to carry a lot of things around. And potentially repairs can be quite expensive. Now to another SUV that is available everywhere, and it basically is the big brother to the LS 400. And I mean the Lexus RX. They are reliable and very luxurious SUVs that have a lot of space. And just like the LS 400, they are very reliable. You can get 3-liter V6s with 220 horsepower or a 2.4 liter inline 4 with 160 horsepower. You get 4-speed automatic transmissions and all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. And because it's a Lexus again, they are very comfortable and have a lot of tech in them. And because they are so spacious, they are extremely practical. A different car that is still practical but a lot smaller is a Volkswagen Golf GTI. They are fine in reliability, but they are mostly fun cars. You get 2-liter inline 4s that produce 200 horsepower, and you get a 6-speed manual transmission as well as front-wheel drive. Because these cars are super light, they also handle very well. They are basically just a daily driver that you can enjoy. I mean, you can take like 4 or 5 people around, or just load in your groceries. And another thing that makes these cars insanely cool is the mod support. You can build them to be pretty fast, and it's not gonna be too expensive. If you want to have a lot of space and the V8, you should look at the Chevrolet Tahoe, and those things are incredibly reliable. I mean, even the American police and government officials use these cars. So they're 5.7 liter V8s that put about 280 horsepower to all 4 wheels really last a long time. You get a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission and a lot of space to carry a lot of things around. And in these things you can go anywhere you want. But of course they are very big and heavy, so sad but true, they are not a race car. But if you want to get a real race car for less than 5k, there's only one option. And even the CEO of Koenigsegg drives one. Of course, it's the Mazda MX-5 Miata. They are very reliable little sports cars with 1.6 or 1.8 liter 4 cylinders that produce about 100 horsepower and use a 5-speed manual or 4-speed auto to get this power to the rear wheels. It is one of the cheapest cars you can own, and they are very light, fun cars. So they really are just about the driving and enjoyment. And these things also have a very big aftermarket community. I mean, there's people that V8 swap them and do a lot of other crazy things with them, and those cars will just take it. They are undefeatable. So now leave a like if this video was helpful to you. And I know, those are only 9 cars again. And I also think I will just leave it like that in the future with just doing 9 car lists. Sounds stupid? Maybe. It's a weird thing. Another thing that surprised me was that many of these cars are cheaper to get in Europe than the US. And if you want to check if I'm telling you the truth, you can just look it up yourself. I use 2 websites to check the prices. The first one is Autotempest to check cars in America, and the second one is mobile.com for cars in Europe. Links will be in the video description. Sorry to Australia, I don't even know how you guys get cars. So thanks for watching till the end, and maybe I'll see you in another video.